Namaste, my dear divine soul. Today is Bhaadrapada Sukla Panchami, which is reckoned as Rishi Panchami in the Sanatana Dharma practices. On this auspicious day, the Saptarishis, along with their spouse, especially of the current Manvantara, are worshipped. The Saptarishi is a status given to the great sage, whose term will be for the period of one Manvantara, which is comprising of 71 Mahayugas. The Saptarishis have played a significant role in transmitting the Vedic knowledge and contents of sacred text to the earthly consciousness. The Saptarishi Mandala, which is a cluster of 7 stars, also known as the Great Bear constellation Ursa Major, which is clearly visible from the earth in the northern direction. This resembles that of a kite in the space. The individual stars in the Saptarishi Mandala are Marichi, Atri, Angirasa, Pulastya, Pulaha, Kratu, and Vasistha, and these are the Saptarishis of this current Manvantara. The scenario as depicted in this image was the Manvantara Pralaya during the Sandhikala of Chakshuva and Vaivashvata Manvantara, when the Lord Mahavishnu took the form of a giant fish, that is the Matsyavatara of Mahavishnu, and protected Satyavrata, which is Manu, and the 7 sages, the Saptarishis. So friends, let us now know a little more about Rishis today on this auspicious day. Rishis. Who are Rishis? They are also called as the light masters. The name Rishis brings to our minds the archetypal image of old men with matted locks and long beards, sitting in the forests or caves in a deep meditations. Or we may think of them as characters in our epics, involved in some spiritual activity, but mostly living in seclusion away from the society. In the West, maybe we associate similar characteristics to saints or mystics. Our imagination hardly takes us beyond the movies and storybooks, which feed us with these pictures and characters since our young days. A Rishi is much more than any of these characterizations. To understand the Rishis is to understand the possibilities of human endeavor, the heights that man can touch, the greatness he can achieve. Rishis are truly the pinnacle of human evolution at all levels, the physical, astral, and spiritual. Who is a Rishi? A Rishi is a spiritual enlightened master who has mastered the spiritual sciences through his long and persistent efforts or tapasya. He is a person who has experienced God, and because of that experience, he is able to manifest God's qualities in his living. A Rishi's language is love. He always radiates love in his thoughts, words, and actions. Whoever comes in contact with him will be touched by this divine love. It's no exaggeration that in ancient times, when the Rishis used to live in forest, the entire atmosphere would be infused with so much of love that even the wild animals would walk around tamely without harming others. The depth of their unconditional love can only be known by the experience. A Rishi is the personification of all the spiritual qualities: love, surrender, humility, detachment, and accommodation. A Rishi's higher experiences makes him one of the wisest and finest people in the entire creation. He manifests that wisdom in his living, in his interactions with others, and in guiding them. He can understand others and accommodate them completely with a tremendous patience and expansion. Because of their higher spiritual experiences and wisdom, the Rishis have access to very rare knowledge and powers that are not available to anyone else very easily. Their wisdom enables them to use these for the welfare of everyone instead of their own individual and personal benefits. Because of their intense love for God, they selflessly serve His divine creation. Let us now understand the incarnations of Rishis. Rishihood is a special spiritual state that is attained after the inner awakening when the seeker chooses to guide others towards their liberation. A Rishi is free from the cycle of birth and death, and though he can go back to his source at any time, he chooses to stay back for the benefit of others. Because he has transcended death, he can continue to live in the same body for thousands of years without aging, if that is required for his work. In the Himalayas and other places, there are innumerable rishis who are in deep tapas for eons, gathering and holding special energies. Yet, there are rishis who choose to give up their bodies at death and take birth again. The reason could vary from one person to another. It could be to take birth on a different earth in another part of creation, or to take birth on this earth itself in another part of the world for a different purpose. This choice, like others, will be according to the divine plan, and the rishis follow the instructions of the Saptarishis, the 7 great masters who are the supreme administrators of the God's creation. All the spiritual masters of the mankind, like Jesus Christ, Plato, Aristotle, Swami Vivekananda, Adi Shankaracharya, Maharshi Amara, Max Muller, Ramana Maharshi, etc., were great rishis. These spiritual giants have also incarnated as important people throughout the history of mankind to advance civilization, to establish the kingdoms, to invent and discover thousands of useful things, to reform the society, and to advance the area of fine arts like art and music. They have also taken birth as inventors and scientists like Isaac Newton, Charles Darwin, Albert Einstein, Mother Curie, to advance the frontiers of science. They have also come down as reformers like Mother Teresa, Mahatma Gandhiji, Nelson Mandela, to serve the society and help those in need. As artists, poets, sculptors, and musicians like Da Vinci, Michelangelo, and Mozart, they have also added the new dimensions to the human culture and fantasy. And many times, they have taken birth as ordinary people, not known to many, but impacting the lives of those around their ideal living and personal qualities. At the physical level, these great people may not be aware of their spiritual roots. A rishi who incarnates in this way usually connects to the higher realms of consciousness at a very deeper level and brings down a very special knowledge in that field which is relevant to that times. He may not manifest all the qualities of a rishi in that incarnation, as it may not be required to. So, he will often lead a purposeful but contradicting life of a genius focused on his work, so that the knowledge of his true identity does not disturb his work. Let us now understand some capacities of the rishis. As you already know, the rishis are the highest beings in the God's creation. The direct wisdom, energies, and the guidance from the Supreme Intelligence Himself gives them the tremendous capacities and enables them to carry out the unbelievable feats. Some of their powers are truly breathtaking, which they use only for the execution of the God's work, not for their personal work. Some of the capacities are: rishis can travel from one universe to another and from one manifestation to another. They can transcend time and space and reach any part of God's creation. They can even go to the unmanifested part of creation and return. They also bring the new knowledge and energies from these places for the betterment of humanity and everyone else. Before releasing them to others, they conduct a lot of tests and experiments to implement these on themselves and the other team of workers under them. After releasing these new energies, they continue to monitor the changes there itself. Rishis can communicate with millions at the same time. For example, the rishi who is in charge of the work of this planet Earth can communicate with all the people here simultaneously. They can teleport, bilocate, or even multiply themselves into many bodies, depending on the requirement of the work. All the faculties like telepathy, third eye, astral, causal, or soul travel, and innumerable other siddhis will be fully operational in them. They use these for the service of others. Rishis also gather a lot of energies over thousands of years of intense tapasya or when they experience God. These energies enable them to create new galaxies, and some masters can even create new universes. They usually store these energies within themselves and release them at appropriate times, using it for the God's work whenever required. There are different categories of rishis. The rishis are the administrators of God creation. They take care of His entire manifestation and govern it on His behalf. They're involved in all the decision making and governance processes. There is a huge network of rishis which spans all the planes and dimensions. At different levels, they have different roles and responsibilities. The first category of the rishis are Saptha Rishis. The Sapta Rishis are a batch of 7 rishis who are directly in charge of the entire work under God. They have millions of other rishis and workers to assist them in this work. They report directly to the Almighty God and take important decisions pertaining to the administration with His consultation. The Sapta Rishis are not a permanent batch. This rishis of this batch keeps changing over larger cycles of time known as the Manvantara in the Sanskrit language. They are known in different cultures as the hierarchy, the council of lights, the light masters, etc. The present batch of Saptarishis are Maharshi Bhrigu, Atri, Angirasa, Vasistha, Pulastya, Pulaha, and Kratu. On this planet Earth, there are assisted by the batch of 1,44,000 light workers are also called as the Rishi workers, spread across different cultures and the countries. The second categories of the Rishis are Maharshis. These are the Rishis of a particular order who have done intense tapasya and who have been serving God for millions of years. They take His divine advice and execute His work. Depending on the work, they can go to all the manifested worlds and dimensions and even to the unmanifested part of the creation. The Maharshis usually work under the Saptarishis, but some of them choose to work on their own. Usually, they work from the astral planes, but sometimes they take birth on this plane depending on the requirement. There are some great Maharshis whom even God consults before taking important decisions. These great masters bring down the very rare knowledge and energies for the betterment of humanity and everyone else. The third categories of rishis are Rishi workers. These are the masters who are responsible to execute the divine work at the physical level. Usually, they work as a batch on a particular earth. Many of them will be the order of Maharshis and they specialize in working at the physical level. For example, Maharshi Amara. The Rishi workers will be trained for thousands of years across many lifetimes for the work. Many will be also working for many cycles. They are trained for working in various adverse and difficult situations. Hence, they are always able to accept the situations they are in and wait patiently without losing hope to continue their work. Rishi workers are also called as the Maharshi workers, experience higher spiritual states at all the deeper levels, which they manifest in their work here. All the qualities they manifest for the work like patience, accommodation, and inner strength comes from their love for God and His creation. The fourth category is the light workers. These are also the great spiritual masters who work for God's creation. Unlike the Rishi workers, they are not a permanent batch of rishis on any earth. They go to a particular earth when more help is required, like during a transitionary period, and they'll also have a very different masters other than the rishis to guide them in their work sometimes. So now, let us understand the work of the rishis. Much of the work of the rishis remain hidden partially because of their humility, which prevents them from talking about it. The scriptures which capture some of their works are also incomplete and have been distorted over time. A few records of the workers and psychics give us a glimpse of the immense work which these masters have done silently over the eons without the expectation of any reward or recognition. Rishis have gone out of their way to save humanity from many wars and natural calamities. For this, they have spent their personal spiritual energies, the tapas shaktis, which they have gained over thousands of years of intense meditations. In spite of their Herculean efforts, we had to go through a very few wars and natural disasters because people did not choose to transform. Rishis have brought down many rare energies and injected them into all the humans along with other living beings. They use occasions like eclipses and star alignments to release these energies. They also make use of the opportunities like peace rallies and candlelight marches to heal people and the place. These energies help humans to transform if they are open to them and their energies. Rishis work hard to reveal various spiritual truths like the details of God's creation. They have taught meditations and spiritual practices to help people to find the liberation from the cycle of birth and death. Though the spiritual truths are present in the scriptures, whenever these masters take birth, they simplify and explain this knowledge to the people around in the most simplified language. Most of the times, they also add new knowledge to the ones that already existed on this planet Earth. The knowledge helps everyone overcome their ignorance and grow. Let us now discuss some of the rishis' work in this transitory period. Postponing the Third World War. Many psychics like Nostradamus, Baba Vanga, Veera Brahmendra Swamiji had predicted the Third World War by the end of 20th century, and it was supposed to happen as per the destiny of this planet Earth. And we have been at the brink of this war several times. But the rishis, out of their love and concern for the humanity, have managed to postpone the war in order to reduce the pain and destruction. They have also released a lot of their tapas shakti and have prayed for the grace to alter this destiny. Until now, the war has been postponed also because of the good percentage of humanity doesn't want it. But if people unchose or continue to manifest negativities, the higher intelligence may be forced to allow another world war to happen. Another instance is reducing the duration of pralaya and the transitory period. Our planet Earth was supposed to go through an intense churning period, the pralaya, for about 49 years and a total of 432 years of the transitory period before ascending into the light golden age. Now, with the grace of the higher intelligence and the work of rishis, we have already finished by this end of 2018. Another important highlight of this period is that we go through less commotion and also have the maximum opportunities to make faster the spiritual progress. What used to make lifetimes, the great effort can be achieved by an individual within the few years. This is because of the help provided by the rishis at a different levels to transform, grow and manifest light. One example of their work during this transitory period is their work during the 2010 FIFA World Cup. Africa is very dense with its karmas, problems and very gross energies. A lot of help is being offered from the spiritual level for the growth of this place and the planet called as Africa. During the recently concluded Football World Cup, the theme song was Waka Waka. The rishis mapped Va to water and Ka to karmas and released a lot of energies at the astral level. Whenever anyone repeated Waka Waka, a little of the karmas were washed away. And the football finals, which coincided with the eclipse, was fully utilized to release a lot of new energies and do a lot of astral work within Africa. We may never know Most of the works or sacrifices of these great masters who have moved the wheels of civilization and helped humanity at all levels, material and spiritual. Understanding the immensity of their work helps us to develop love towards them and also cultivate humanity and humility. These are the qualities which help us to establish the contact with these masters so that we find the guidance on our true spiritual path. Anyone can grow and become a rishi on this spiritual journey. Whenever we transcend the desire for our individual growth and decide to help and serve others on their journey, the universe helps us to attain this rishihood. This selfless quality differentiates a rishi from the spiritual aspirant. Even in this modern age, the rishis and their team is handling all the activities like protection, guidance, preservation, management, and development of the entire cosmos and various forces. Currently, Maharshi Markandeya heads the Saptarishis and 1,44,000 light workers. Today, I would like to share about a great rishi worker, Maharshi Amara, who has done the tremendous work under the instructions of Saptarishis. He lived like a common man in the society, yet he did amazing work in the astral world under the direct guidance of Saptarishis. He was a master in meditation, astral travel, cosmic alignments, soul communication, etc. Once, a great power had to be brought down from a higher plane. The requirement was that the person who would do this had to stand on two different earths, which were billions of light years apart. Of the 1,44,000 light workers on this planet Earth, there was only one worker who could accomplish this. And yes, that was Amara. Many years ago, this great soul left his physical frame and attained Mahasamadhi. In reflecting over his simple but extraordinary life, we can find numerous lessons for our daily living as well as many an inspiration for our spiritual journey. Let us know a little more about Maharshi Amara. Amara was born as Ambarisha Varma Desai on 1st of February 1919 in a royal family from Belgaum, a place in Karnataka, India. He completed his formal education in Bangalore and Madras, married and settled in Bangalore, and lived a relatively unknown life of a commoner throughout his entire life. Though well known in his spiritual circles as a spiritual guide and a master, he kept a low profile so that he can focus completely on his work and mission. He was a child at heart, but a very great spiritual master who guided thousands in meditations and spirituality. The rishis have called him as the humility personified Maharshi. Though being a great rishi, he would always refer to himself as a worker of the rishis. Unlike all the rishi workers, he dedicated his entire life for the selfless service to the mankind and to the accomplishment of the divine work that was allocated to him. A rishi worker is usually initiated into the work at the age of 12. Amara had given an account of his first contact with his great rishis, which occurred when he was just a small boy of 9 years old. During an operation, when he was administered anesthesia, he could feel himself coming out of his body and travel astrally across the space to a distant earth, where he met the Saptarishis and especially the Maharshi Vishwamitra, and then returned to his body within few hours. For the next 3 years, Vishwamitra Maharshi visited him regularly and trained him in all aspects of the spiritual sciences. At the age of 12, he was initiated as a rishi worker, one among the 1,44,000 masters who assist the Saptarishis on this planet Earth. He carried out this role to perfection and worked for the rishis at all levels throughout his life. In his lifetime, he could touch the lives of many around him as a spiritual guide, mentor, a role model, and an inspiration. He spoke without inhibitions about the numerous astral works that he carried out and about the greater realities that govern our life here. He explained in simple language the essence of all the Vedas and Upanishads. Thousands were initiated into meditations at the informal gatherings that happened around him. He explained spirituality as a science and added newer dimensions to the existing spiritual knowledge. He could inspire many into leading a spiritual life of simplicity, humility, and virtues. Many were guided to attain liberation with the help of dedicated spiritual practices. This great soul left his mortal physical body on 25th of August 1982 after laying a very strong foundation for the work of rishis at the physical level. At present, he stays and works on the earth in the Andromeda galaxy, but the place doesn't limit the scope of his work. He still guides all the genuine seekers in the entire material cosmos at various levels. Let us now know some of his noticeable works. His astral works and adventures were numerous and exhaustive enough to fill volumes and volumes, most of which might never be revealed at all. Every night, he would travel astrally to the Himalayas to take instructions from the Saptarishis and accomplish the work that was assigned to him. He regularly visited the divine city Shambhala in Gobi Desert astrally, from where he brought out the principles of light and taught them to those around him, to assist them on their spiritual journey. As a part of his astral works, he would sometimes even astral travel to distant galaxies and worlds and accomplish great feats, the details of which defy all the imagination and fantasy. The astral activity would sometimes be supplemented at the physical level when he would travel to different places across the country to awaken some rishis who were in deep tapas for thousands of years. When great spiritual activities happened at different levels, they had to be accompanied at the physical level too, in the form of similar homas and special pujas, which were carried out under his guidance. Even from a young age, he had to travel to different places and meditate to anchor energies or to physically meet some of the spiritual immortals. Yet, in spite of participating in all these breathtaking adventures and activities, Amara lived a very balanced and fruitful life, going through all the trials and tribulations of a normal householder. Never did he use his amazing capacities or powers for any personal gain, even to save himself in times of danger. He lived a perfect life, teaching others more by his way of living than by empty words. Amara's approach to work. Maharshi Amara has expressed his ambition as just to serve God, love all of his creation, and pass on the knowledge from God and his creation to all those who want to know all about him. Let me always take birth as a normal human being and serve him as much as possible. These were his words. His surrender to the divine is complete and unquestionable. When he was alive, many let him down, but like his name, his faith and surrender to the rishis was eternal. His trust in the innate goodness of humanity was unwavering. He could always forgive others and give them another opportunity to grow. Amara always carried himself with his affirmation, I have come to serve God. With his help and guidance, I have come to pass on the same knowledge to all the genuine seekers. If anyone comes, I shall share happily. If no one turns up, my work as a sadhak is unaccomplished. This sums up his unparalleled humility. The entire mission of his life was Rishi Karya ki Jyoti Sadha Jale. Rishi Karya ki Jyoti Sadha Jale. Rishi Karya ki Jyoti Sadha Jale, which means let the light of Rishi's work always radiate. Let us now know Maharshi Amara's actual origin and higher aspects. Maharshi Amara is by nature very humble and shy. He has been working silently for the welfare of humanity for millions of years, but his humility always prevents him from speaking anything about his work and accomplishments. Even when he was physically alive, he would always desist from speaking about himself and instead would speak only about the rishis, God, and the work. The information about his origin was given by his close associate Maharshi Vishwamitra. Moola Brahman and the Lord Sri Krishna combined their divine light and created a new soul. This was a very rare soul and was shining with tremendous brilliance. It also had many beautiful characteristics and was very soft and shy by nature. As soon as it was manifested, the first thing it did was to offer its respect to the God and his creation. God was very much touched by this gesture and blessed this, saying, "In all the lives, whenever he takes birth, he shall have the direct blessings of God." He also conferred him the honor of being the father of goddess Mahalakshmi whenever she takes birth. This soul is none other than Maharshi Amara. He has always been guided by Lord in all his lives and has been assisted by the Maharshi Vishwamitra himself. Whenever an Amsha of goddess Mahalakshmi took birth on this planet Earth, he has come down as her father. He always guides goddess Mahalakshmi. At present, she exists on this earth as goddess Padmavati. Amara has been helping and guiding her at the astral level. The Amsha of Mahavishnu, who marries the Amsha of Mahalakshmi, also takes guidance from the Maharshi Amara in the Shambhala. Whenever an Amsha of God or any god descends on our earth, Maharshi Amara accompanies that Amsha and guides it to the proper destination. He is also very close to the great master Vishwamitra Maharshi. Whenever Maharshi Vishwamitra comes down to the human plane, Maharshi Amara also takes birth to help him in his work. Let us now discuss some special qualities of Maharshi Amara. Maharshi Amara, though being a great rishi, has some special qualities that sets him apart from others. The following information about his uniqueness was given by the Maharshi Vishwamitra himself. Amara was a specialist at materializing himself into many bodies and working parallel to serve God. During the Second World War, he materialized himself simultaneously in 18 different places and worked for Red Cross, tending and caring for the wounded. This information was revealed through his relatives. Vishwamitra Maharshi gave a completely new dimension to the skill of this. He said that in 1971, Maharshi Amara materialized in 1007 other different places simultaneously, some places being in different galaxies too. This was done to accomplish a special work that was assigned to him. He was a very special expert at music. Vishwamitra Maharshi gave an example of him using his talent for his work. Once during the World War II, he was listening to the radio and there was a news broadcast of many soldiers who were injured in the gunfight. Amara then began to hum a very healing tone. Exactly 12 minutes later, the radio announced that the Red Cross volunteers had reached the soldiers and their treatment would shortly begin in the tents. On another occasion, he had used his vocal capacity to cause a very much needed rain. Amara is renowned for his extraordinary humility. In many lives, Amara was born as a king, but he always remained detached from the grandeur and prosperity that arrived with that title. In all his lives, he was also known for his adjusting nature and patience. Whenever great personalities and avatars descended on this earth for some special work, a lot of activity is done in the background by the rishis to help these personalities. Their huge work remains hidden and all the glory is given to the avatars. When asked about this, Amara had said, "We are like workers who clean the streets. What we do is nothing when compared to the work of these incarnations or the avatars." Once a priest in the Ganesha temple spoke at length to Amara about Lord Ganesha and his virtues. Amara also had worked with the Lord Ganesha himself, but he chose to listen to the priest with all the attention and respect without ignoring him. That's the level of humility he always expressed. Amara was a specialist in anchoring special energies. Vishwamitra Maharshi says that whenever he anchored energies, the place got healed completely and it would become a container for new knowledge and energies. On 25th of August 1972, Amara went astrally all over India thrice and anchored energies. It was these energies that set India on the road of development. After this event, India began to welcome the newer technologies and innovations that weren't allowed until then. Again in the year 2000, August 25th, he anchored a lot of energies at various cities like Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai, Mysore, Mangalore, Pune, and Mumbai. These energies helped to pick up the pace of growth in the industrial and technological sectors. Even before his death in 1982, he anchored many other energies in India so that people from all over the world could gather these energies from here and spread it all over the world. So currently, Maharshi Amara is working in the astral planes. He still continues to guide millions from the astral level even now when he is not physically alive on this planet Earth. Some have seen him physically and have been helped by him, only to realize his identity later. Vishwamitra Maharshi revealed that Amara even materializes if it requires. He gave two examples. When the World Trade Center crashed on September 11, 2001, Amara materialized as a fire service engineer and worked to save many lives. He materialized near many people who were trapped and had no access and then rescued them. He did the similar thing during the terrorist attacks in Mumbai. He materialized as an attendant of a hotel and helped many people who were hiding in an extended room. Maharshi Amara continues to participate in the work of the Saptarishis, assisting them in the great shift of cycles that is happening at the present. He has passed on very rare energies and new knowledge about the creation, light age, and other higher realities. He is working very hard along with other masters in guiding the humanity sail through these turbulent times and make shift into the new age of light. Maharshi Vishwamitra says that the name Amara itself makes you feel eternal and expanded, surrendered and still, humble and shy. He says that by absorbing Amara, one can attain any spiritual height with complete humility and surrender to God. Amara in Sanskrit means the eternal one, the purity, the love, the vastness that the God breathed into his creation will remain forever as long as the creation exists. Maharshi Amara, who stands as a personification of all these qualities, is truly an eternal master. When Maharshi Amara was alive, he initiated so many great sadhaks into the path of meditation and the Rishi work. One of such great disciples was Guruji Krishnananda. Guruji Krishnananda started the Manasa Light Age Foundation in Taponagara of Chikkagubbi village of Bangalore North in Karnataka, India. He is the one who continued the work of his teacher Maharshi Amara. In the Manasa Light Age Foundation campus, Guruji Krishnananda has created so many powerful spots, and one of such power centers is the Cosmic Tower. This Cosmic Tower is a unique structure which has two pyramids, one standing on the other, and a meditation hall under them. The first pyramid has 7 astral segments representing the 7 lokas: the Bhuloka, the Bhualoka, the Suvaloka, the Mahaloka, the Janaloka, the Tapaloka, and the Satyaloka. The inverted pyramid contains the 4 astral segments, represents the 4 divine lokas: the Brahmaloka, the Vishnuloka, the Shivaloka, and the Devi Lokas. The Rishis have installed and filled up the structure with the cosmic energy. Between the 2 eclipses in the December 2002, the Rishis built a huge astral chamber under the ground, and on 4th of December 2002, they established a huge field of the divine energy there. If a person stays for 12 seconds in the meditation hall, he absorbs sufficient cosmic energy to purify his entire system. If a person meditates for 24 minutes, He absorbs the divine energy and also that activates the several spiritual processes that erase some karmas, positivize his living, and without effort transform him into a divine person. If in a deep meditation our awareness rises to any astral segment, we can gather knowledge and energies from that loka. Every segment is an entity point into another loka or dimensions. The Guruji Krishnananda in the Tapoloka used this meditation technique for everyone. One has to sit with the eyes comfortably closed and repeat the mantra Om silently. Also imagine a foot, which is the ball-sized ball of light above your head. Meditate for 24 minutes minimum. And this cosmic energy, which is transmitted in the cosmic tower, reach all the corners of the world to bring peace, love and light and shift our awareness into the higher consciousness. Along with the cosmic tower, Guruji Krishnananda and other rishis have created so many powerful spots within the campus. One of such powerful spots is the Saptarishi cave, which is the powerful meditational hall wherein you can find the statues of current Saptarishis like Bhrigu Maharshi, Atri Maharshi, Angirasa Maharshi, Vasistha Maharshi, Pulastya Maharshi, Pulaha Maharshi and Kratu Maharshi can be seen in a meditative pose. Along with the other powerful spots, you can also find the chakra activation centers within the campus. As there are 7 major chakras, each power spot or the power center is created to activate a particular chakra. When you go and meditate by sitting inside the pyramid or by sitting under the roof of this power spot, within few minutes that particular chakra gets activated. Like the Mooladhara chakra, Swadhisthana chakra, the Manipura chakra, the Anahata chakra, the Vishuddha chakra, the Agna chakra and the Sahasrara chakra. You can also find the powerful meditational spot to meditate under the guidance of great rishis, which is the Saptarishi cave, and also you can meditate right in front of the statue of Dakshinamurti, who is the form of Lord Shiva, who initiated all the 4 Vedas to the Saptarishis. You can also find the holy ashes of Maharshi Amara and Guruji Krishnananda within the campus, and these spots can be a powerful meditational centers wherein the entire space is filled with lots of divine vibrations. You can also find lots of small statues of the great Saptarishis and the divine masters, which is in the Antarmanasa Foundation. You are now going to hear the original voice of Maharshi Amara talking about the Saptarishis.
Bhaadrapada Maharshi says, you should come out, cut asunder all obstructions and barriers that are there on the material side, or on the mental side, or on the social side. You must come out victorious as Vivekananda or a Christ or a Muhammad or Lord Buddha. Every one of you can become a Christ. You have got all that strength in you. So, he expects all of you to straightaway become realized persons, become spiritual giants, and tell the people that the time for unrighteousness is over and righteous people alone can survive. Hereafter, because the kingdom of God is here as Satyuga has dawned, you must tell others also that since the time has changed, you can become a God yourself. For this purpose, Bhaadrapada Maharshi says, don't try to live like an ordinary person. You must come out like a big banyan tree. Seed of the banyan tree is very small, but when it grows up, it becomes a huge and big tree. Similarly, you should grow out to be a very powerful spiritual being on this earth and see that kingdom of God is established now on this earth and Satyuga is here today. You must make such decisions. He says finally, awake, arise and stop not until the goal is reached.